A show created by the fans, for the fans. We are your home for Ohio State football coverage all year long. The Scarlet and Gray Podcast, a Network 216 production. Live weekdays on the Network 216 YouTube channel. Send us all your questions and comments on Twitter at VSG_podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Dalton, and Nick Leisure.
Hello, Buckeye Nation, and welcome to today's episode of the Scarlet and Gray Podcast. We have your Ohio State versus Nebraska game day preview. I am Tyler Johnson, as always, joined by the boys, Nick Leisure, Jordan Dalton. Gentlemen, happy Thursday. How are you guys doing today?
Feels like we haven't watched Ohio State play in like 6 years. They took the whole offseason off, and we're back.
Yeah, dude,
it really does feel like that.
I'm definitely ready to get this nasty taste out of my mouth from 2 weeks ago with the Oregon loss. So hopefully they can get a good bounce back week and just kind of keep building for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, there is a lot to talk about. Like I said, Ohio State versus Nebraska game day preview. We also are going to give our weekly picks for the slate of games this week. But before we get to any of that, guys, be sure and just drop a quick like on the video if you would. Again, completely free to like the video. Again, that helps the YouTube algorithm grow. It helps the channel grow and push the show out to viewers that have not yet seen the Scarlet and Gray podcast. But also subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. Once again, completely free. We are trying to reach 3,000 subscribers. Can't get there without your help. And we have 2 shows normally per week. We didn't this past week with Ohio State having a bye week, but normally record Tuesday nights and then have an Ohio State game day preview for you. So make sure you subscribe. That way you don't miss any Ohio State football content. And guys, Nebraska is coming to Columbus. It is another big noon kickoff game. It feels like that's just going to be Ohio State's schedule the rest of the year for the most part, is playing at noon. But Nebraska is coming off a game against Indiana. They did not play very well against Indiana. They were on the road in Bloomington. It was the first time that Indiana had college game day there. Lost 56-7, so they did not play very well. But when you guys look at this Nebraska team, what do you think of this team? I know we all watched that game against Illinois that went down to the wire. They lost at home. Other than that, they beat Colorado, who has since proven to be a lot better than a lot of people thought. They barely beat Rutgers. They beat Purdue. But other than that, I mean, when you look at this team, is this a team you guys think is actually pretty good, or do you think still kind of a mediocre Nebraska team just based off the teams they've played so far this year?
Yeah, they started the year pretty tough. They looked like they could be a force in the Big Ten. But once they got into Big Ten play, they kind of leveled out. And we saw them just get absolutely dismantled against Indiana this past week. They're kind of one of those teams that was trending up, and now they're on the way down. And you have a lot of teams like Indiana, and Illinois is similar trend. Started hot, had a couple big wins, and then they started fall off a little bit. But yeah, I think that they're definitely a little. They're better than they were last year, but they're still working their way towards the top of the Big Ten, and I don't think they're close to the top yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll make a bowl game this year, which is a big advancement, from years past. They're just kind of they're led by a young quarterback. I mean, they're going to want to throw it around a lot. They don't really run the ball too well, but I mean, they got some playmakers. I mean, this is definitely a game that you can't really snooze on. With Penn State looming, it's definitely easy to try to think ahead. Now, I would say if we had won the Oregon game and we were number 1 in the country coming into this game, and we kind of looked past Nebraska, I could understand that. But right now, dude, every game is the biggest game of the year for the Buckeyes moving forward, because 2 losses, it's going to be really difficult to make your case at the end of the year. So I think every game is the biggest game of the year moving forward. They just got to stay focused and can't overlook Nebraska at all.
I mean,
when you, Sorry,
I would
Jimmy,
say
continue.
just going forward in the next few years, Nebraska should be towards the top, just like you said, with that young true freshman quarterback, Dylan Raiola. Matt Rule's got that program basically under his hands. He's working, he's crafting that program the way he wants it to be. And he is a program builder. That's what he was brought in to do. And so I don't think they're quite there yet, but he's building it the right way. And they talked about he did interview this offseason about how he wants the program to be built from the ground up, and they are really picky with who they want to come into their program from transfer portal and different things. He said they take high school recruiting seriously with the character and the type of players that they're bringing in, because he believes that the best teams in college football are built through the weight room, through kids staying in the program and wanting to be at Nebraska. And it's just going to take time. It's not going to be a 2-year thing for Nebraska to be where they want to be. And so I look forward to this team actually taking another step, throughout this season and then next season to get to the top of the Big Ten. I think they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It just won't be this year.
Yeah, I mean, they do have some talent. I mean, and of course you mentioned Dylan Raiola. I think quite a lot of expectations on his shoulders as a freshman. But if you look at Nebraska just overall, I mean, statistically, right now, they can't run the ball. I mean, really at all for the most part. They don't run it a lot anyway. But even so, they're not able to really run the football that well. They're only averaging 23 points a game currently. And then you kind of look at it, it's really all on Dylan Raiola. I mean, this year, he has 1,500 yards. He's completing 66% of his passes, 7.5 yards per attempt, 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, sacked 14 times. I mean, it's this team is all Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola will take Nebraska as far as he can. It's on his shoulders. Now, he is battling an ankle injury. It sounds like he is going to play, but we know he's battling an ankle injury. When you look at Nebraska, though, I mean, Dante Dowell leads them on the ground with 350 rushing yards, but he's only averaging 4.3 yards a carry. Their backup, Emmett Johnson, he's got 231 yards, rushing 5.4 yards a carry. But this is not a team that really wants to run the ball. They want to spread it out to Isaiah Naylor, to Jamal Banks, and to Thomas Fedone at tight end. So, guys, with Ohio State, how worried are you with this defense, especially on the outside, after what you saw against Oregon? Denzel Burke mainly being the guy, because he is going to be the one that's probably going to be matched up against Isaiah Naylor. And Naylor, 6'4", 220 pounds. It's going to be a handful for Denzel Burke. Do you guys see Denzel Burke bouncing back this week? Do you think maybe they dial back his reps a little bit just after he struggled? What are you expecting from the Buckeye secondary?
I mean, I think they're going to have a big bounce back week. I know, at least I hope. I listened on the Ryan Day show today, and just listening to his press conferences throughout the week, like, they really looked themselves in the mirror in this bye week, and I think they're really looking at the defensive side of the ball hardcore. So I think they're going to have a really big bounce back week. The secondary, I mean, you're not going to have Lathan Ransom out there due to injury, so I mean, the safety position is going to be by committee, other than Jordan Hancock out there. So, and obviously, who am I thinking of?
Caleb Downs.
Caleb Downs. So it's like, I think they'll be fine. I think the defensive line is going to have to really put pressure on Raiola. He is crafty in the pocket, so you're going to have to make sure you have eyes on him at all times. But with the ankle injury, I think it's going to limit him some. But I think the defense bounced back in a big way this week.
Yeah, and the thing with this defense is I don't think, and you guys can tell me I'm dumb or whatever, but I don't think I'm worried about this defense against inferior opponents. Yeah. It's the teams that are equal to our talent level is where we've seen them struggle in the past, and teams that we are going to have close games with. That's when we're giving up those big yardage games, the 500-yard games or whatever that stat you dropped the last episode, TJ, of how these big games our defense kind of falls apart. I don't think this is going to be considered one of those big games for Ryan Day and Ohio State. I think the defense takes care of business like they did the first 5 weeks of the season. And I think we see a different defense than we did against Oregon, but we're going to have this conversation again next week going into Penn State. Can they stop a good offense with a good quarterback? Like a great offense with a great quarterback. That's been the question all along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, and that kind of hit the nail on the head there. I think the biggest thing with this defense, I need to see Denzel Burke start to get some confidence back, because I'm hoping they dial back his reps a little bit, because I think Jermaine Matthews needs to see the field, and I'll stand by that all year until it starts to happen, because I think the kid needs to get on the field. We aren't sure if Lathan Ransom is going to be available. Ryan Day said day-to-day. There have been some rumors that he's battling quite a severe injury, but I guess we'll find out on game day. But they've looked at putting Jermaine Matthews in the nickel and Jordan Hancock at safety. They've looked at potentially putting Lorenzo Styles back there at safety. They've looked at Malik Hartford. So we'll see what the Buckeyes end up doing there. I think that'll be kind of interesting to see what happens there. I kind of want to shift attention now to the offense. So one thing Nebraska is really good at, Nebraska this year has only given up 20 points per game. Now, again, you can say opponent, but even so, one of the strengths for Nebraska has been their defense this year. They do get after the quarterback. I mean, they are currently in the top 15 in the country in sack percentage at 9%. I mean, they get after the quarterback. You know, Ohio State doesn't have Josh Simmons anymore. Again, we wish him a speedy recovery. It's a huge loss on the Buckeye offensive line. But the biggest thing is Nebraska's defense. So what do you guys want to see from the Buckeye offense today? We're hoping Quinshon Judkins is going to be full go in this game. It sounds like he is going to play, but could be a little bit limited with coming off hand surgery. So what do you guys want to see from this offense against a Nebraska defense this year that's proven to be a lot better than people thought?
I was just going to say, I think this bye week helps out huge for this offensive line and being able to put the five on the field and get reps together. We don't have a short week. We're able to take that time to really get everybody on the same page. So I think for me, it's just seeing that cohesive unit work together and bringing along have they announced who the starter is going to be in place of Josh Simmons?
It's going to be Zen. I can't pronounce
senior,
his name.
right?
Zen Mikulski or something.
Just call him Zen. I'm just calling him Zen.
Yeah, he's been in the program for 4 years. So, I mean, he's a veteran that's been around.
I don't think he's really played that much, honestly.
No, he hasn't.
He got his opportunity. So, I hope he makes the most of it. And I would really love to see us get the run game going again. We didn't really get it started against Oregon. And I think Oregon came into that game really focusing on shutting down the run. And I would love to see us get back to that. And then Will Howard just needs to keep playing like he's been playing. I think he talked about this past week the deep balls, and that was something that we have been critical of him. But he said they need to be better throwing the ball down the field. And in particular, he needs to be better throwing the ball down the field. And so I think they've acknowledged it. And I think we're going to see some shots this week to try to open things up. And I would love to see some big, long touchdown throws from Will Howard.
I'm glad you brought up what Will Howard said, because the other thing he added onto that was they're seeing a lot of deep safety looks, which is also prohibiting them from taking because again, we can talk about his deep, we can talk about his deep ball like all day long for sure. But he mentioned a lot of defenses are playing Ohio State with two deep safeties, which takes away some of those opportunities. And then he added that that's kind of why they've attacked more of the middle of the field on those intermediate passes. So I do want to see that from Will Howard too. We're hoping. There have also been rumors that he's been dealing with a groin injury. So hopefully we don't see any effects on Saturday. Quinshon Judkins, same thing. you almost wonder if they've downplayed Judkins' injury a little bit. Having a surgery on a bye week is quite interesting to me. But
on your hand as a running back, it's like,
yeah, that whole thing. I'll just say this because I feel like we could have an episode on this. The way Ryan Day has continuously told us about injuries is really odd to me. And again, I feel like we hear the same thing with our professional football team that we root for. We get very little info out of what these actual injuries are. And I don't know. I understand teams have to release an injury report, but it feels like the coach doesn't tell you diddly squat. And so you don't really know how severe these injuries are until it's, Tyleek Williams isn't going to play on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we didn't know why. Okay, cool. Thanks for telling us.
Well, so all right, I do have a question. Do college football teams have to release an injury report?
They do now. Yeah.
It used to not be that way, right?
Correct.
And is the injury
now
report
they do.
only on game day, or is it throughout the week?
I'm pretty sure it's throughout the week, but I don't necessarily know if it's made public because I saw the other day that some college, I forget what college team released an injury report. You were able to see it. You were able to see the players that participated and who didn't participate. But I don't know if that's
no
necessarily
explanation of what it was or what. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
So,
I think there's something to do with like university, like kind of covering their students. And
Yeah, that's true.
It's a little bit different when you're a pro athlete. You're getting paid to play the game. You have, daily practice injury reports. But I think there's a little bit of that with Ryan Day where if he doesn't have to say publicly, he's not going to, because number one, they're student athletes still. And number two, he doesn't want to give anything away. It's an advantage for teams to know who's playing and who's not playing,
For sure.
just for game plan purposes. So I think that's how he views it. So I can't be mad at him for not telling the fans like, hey, this player's not playing, because I can see from his point of view why he wouldn't.
True. I see the point of view. It's just like, man, like we're going to get to game day on Saturday. I'm just saying, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be some player that we have not heard a diddly thing about, and he's going to be out.
Yeah, but I mean, it would either be like we know the whole week he's out, and then so does every other team. And
Right.
player.
So you might as well prepare for everybody. I see what you're saying.
But like Indiana, Curtis Rourke. Oh gosh, dang it. He has already been declared that he's out for like the next couple weeks. Like that's what I'm saying. If it's an injury like that, it would be kind of nice to know.
But we know Josh Simmons is out, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
We know Josh Simmons is out for the year.
Yeah, because I feel like that one he had to say. But I get it. I do. It's just
We're playing devil's advocate over here, TJ.
I know. I am.
But no, back to the offense, though. Just want to give a quick shout-out. Dude, I need to see a lot of Travion Henderson, dude. I feel like the pop that he's had when he gets the ball this year has been hard to keep off the field. I mean, he was kind of like the only spark on the running game against Oregon. So I just want to see more of Trey, to be honest. Like, I love Quinshawn. I think he brings a good aggressiveness to the game. But, I mean, there's no reason that you need to take Trey off the field a ton, especially because he's so good in pass pro as well. So, I mean, if Quinshawn's not 100%, I have no problem giving Travion, 20 carries in this game. No problem at all. And if honestly, I feel like if there's any doubt about Judkins, just roll James Peoples out there. He's shown that he can hold his own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to say he's shown that he can hold his own. If he needs to spell Travion for a couple series here or there, I wouldn't be mad about it.
I just hope they actually do that if that is the case, though. Is all I'm saying. Like
for sure.
Because that's my biggest worry. Because
I just don't want them to force Quinshawn out there if he's not 100%. Yeah. Even if he says like he's ready to go, if the coaching staff feels that there's any doubt, just hold him out.
Maybe like Zeke Elliott when he broke his hand and is like using one arm to carry the football.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like if there's any doubt at all, just hold him out.
I need him healthy.
Yeah, for the long haul.
Right now, that's more important than him playing against Nebraska because you got Travion Henderson, you got James Peoples, you got Caleb Downs if you want to put him in the backfield because obviously Ryan.
You got Sam's Williams Dixon. You got all kinds of guys, dude. You got a stable.
Yep, absolutely. I think in this game too, I understand he's third in the pecking order. I want to see more Cardinal Tate. I really do. I feel like I'm waiting for that breakout game, and it's going to happen. Huh?
You say it every week.
I know, because eventually I want to see it, and I feel like it's got to happen at some point. It's got to happen.
We're going to have a Cardinal Tate game this year.
No, we're going to have a Jelani Thurman game this year.
Dude, he's not even going to get reps with Will Kazmarek out. Bennett Christian's going to get more reps than him. Wait for it.
I agree with you, dude. They like what he's been doing.
G. Scott Jr., Bennett Christian,
Jelani Thurman, tight end 3, baby.
Yeah. I mean, heck, you might see Max LeBlanc at this point over Jelani Thurman, the true freshman from Canada, who lost his black stripe, by the way, so congrats to him. I don't know if that was mentioned. But you might seriously see him over Jelani Thurman at this point. I'm not – that's all I got to say about that. But
it is what it is.
But I do want to see Will Howard just continue to build. I know we've talked about it, but that game against Oregon – I understand we lost, and when you bring it up, it's like, oh, okay, well, he played great and we lost. Statistically, it's one of the best games he's ever played in his career, and I just want to see that continuously to build because there are a lot of fans skeptical about Will Howard when he was brought to Ohio State, not thinking he's even good enough for the program, things like that. And I think that game against Oregon, even though we lost, it really opened people's eyes that this guy is a pretty good quarterback, and I just want to see that continue to build. So that's something I really want to see. But guys, Ohio State is a 25.5-point favorite on Saturday against Nebraska. 25.5 points.
That's a lot of points.
First off, do you think Ohio State covers that spread? And what is your game prediction? And then after this, we're going to get into our predictions for this week.
25.5. It's a big number. I think they cover. Defense is going to come out. I feel like this game smells like 42-10, Ohio State. Nebraska gets in the end zone, but yeah, I think 42-10 is what I'm going to go with this week against Nebraska, so they cover.
I don't think we covered the game.
Okay.
I think you said it's 24.5. I think it's
25.5.
25.5. I think it's going to be a 21-point game. I think it's something like 28-7.
Okay. All right. I don't think they cover either. I have 38-17. 38-17. Nebraska's Dylan Raiola can play. He has not faced a defense like this. First off, let me just say that. But, I mean, Dylan Raiola, I think he's able to do some things. Nebraska does have some talent. I think they end up getting some scores, especially early because, again, happens every single week. Ohio State starts off slow. So
it starts at noon, baby. We love it.
Yep. So I'm fully expecting that. So 38-17 is what I got. And then, guys, how did you do last week with your picks?
Well, Jordan, you want to go first? How'd you do this past week, buddy?
I think I won one game.
Brutal. A brutal performance.
Boston College lost. Louisville lost. Nebraska lost. Yep. Alabama lost. Right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Michigan lost.
Michigan lost. Texas lost.
Colorado won.
Yeah.
Colorado did win.
And Arkansas
LSU won. Yeah. I went 4-4. So
you and I are tied still, I think.
I'm 30-18 on the year.
1-7. That was bad.
Dude.
What's the record on the year?
23-25.
Shame on me for taking freaking Michigan, dude. This is why you never pick Michigan to win a game. Unbelievable, dude.
I couldn't believe I took them, and also, I'm not gonna lie, I should have known better to take Arkansas pulling off back-to-back upsets.
No doubt. But did we really expect Texas to play that badly? I mean,
I don't think anybody did.
Quinn Ewers really struggled, dude. And so did Carson Beck, if we're being honest. They both did not play well at all.
Quinn Ewers coming back to Columbus next year?
Dude.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Wouldn't be bad.
Stay tuned. And it's funny, a new Dr. Pepper commercial just dropped with Quinn Ewers, so that's something. But anyways, guys, all right, first game on the docket. We're going to start off with the Friday night slate. Really good. My bad. Oh, Thursday night. My apologies.
Yeah,
I got
Syracuse plays tonight, don't they?
Yep. Thursday night. Syracuse at number 19 Pittsburgh. 7:30 kickoff on ESPN. Pitt is a 5.5-point favorite, and they are expecting points galore in this game. 62.5.
I'm taking the fighting Kyle McCords, dude. Give me Syracuse.
We've seen it once. We've seen it once. We've seen it twice. Give me Syracuse Orange, baby.
You know what? Last time I picked against Syracuse, I lost. So I'm gonna go with Syracuse this time. I'm gonna go with Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord, baby.
Gonna be a high scoring game. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's gonna be.
I'll probably tune into that. Actually, that'll be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, 7:30 tonight. All right. I might pick a Friday game, but I want to get to some of these other Saturday games first, and then we'll circle back if we need one more. All right, going to Saturday here. This will be a lot of fun. Number 12 Notre Dame at 24 ranked Navy.
Oh.
This smells like a midshipman victory, but I'm taking Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman's got that ship turned around, no pun intended.
I'm so torn here right now.
I am too. I'm gonna go. As a Navy veteran, I'll rock with the midshipmen.
Dude, I mean, you're right. Notre Dame.
Don't overthink this.
Notre Dame has been on a tear lately.
They've been dominating.
It's also Notre Dame. I hate saying that too.
Jordan, you have to take Navy though. Being a veteran, you have to.
I want to.
Got the Bo Jackson Navy poster behind me.
I want to pick Navy so bad, but I just can't bring myself
to take Navy for the clicks.
All right. 20th ranked Illinois at number 1 ranked Oregon.
Oregon by 100.
Oregon.
I'm going to go with Oregon, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I really don't. I think Illinois is a pretty good team. Even though Oregon's favored by 22, I think that's way too much.
Oregon's gonna cover in that game.
Oregon ain't covering that. Nope.
I'll bet you $100 right now. Oregon covers, dude.
Dude, I don't have $100.
I'll put it on FanDuel. I'll put it on FanDuel tonight.
All right, put it on FanDuel tonight. $100 on Oregon covering the spread. All right, 21 ranked Missouri at 15th ranked Alabama. 3:30 kickoff. This is easy.
Alabama's rebounding.
I'm going with Alabama because Missouri's not going to have their quarterback, so that's kind of a big loss.
Yeah.
Roll Tide.
We'll see if Jalen Milroe can actually play like a quarterback this week.
But the Tide.
The Tide. Question though.
Yeah.
Huh.
Tide lose this game, they're out, right?
I think they're already out.
They got 2 losses, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I think they're already out.
Well, the SEC is going to get crazy, bro. They're like all cannibalizing each other. It's going to get crazy.
Big Ten's going to do the same thing.
I know. It happens every year.
True. I personally, I think Alabama's already out, but you're right. I mean, we'll see what ends up happening there.
Depending on what happens the rest of the year, yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Moving on. Number 5 ranked Texas at 25th ranked Vanderbilt.
Texas.
Dude, if Vandy wins this game, though. Oh.
Quinn Ewers bounce back.
I want to go Vanderbilt, but I don't think Vanderbilt can do it twice. No. I think Texas is gonna have a big weekend. All right, let's move on here. Another fun matchup. Number 8 ranked LSU at 14th ranked Texas A&M.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I'm going to go – Texas A&M's been on a tear lately. I'm going to go with them. They're hot right now.
I kind of want to agree with you.
They're one of the hottest teams in the country. I'm going there. That's where I'm at.
A tough place to play, too.
Yep.
Is it a 3:30? Is that what you said?
7:30 kickoff.
Oh, night game?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I think I'm going to take A&M here. College Station at night? Yeah, I'm taking A&M.
I'm going to go LSU. I think they have the better quarterback.
Okay.
It should be a good one, though. That'll be a fun game. I didn't realize that was the late night game. That'll be good.
It's one of them. The other one is third-ranked Penn State at Wisconsin, 7:30 kickoff.
Camp Randall.
Penn State.
You know,
Penn State is
Sorry, Luke.
Penn State is 6.5-point favorites in this game.
you know, I have a feeling Wisconsin wins this game.
Think they're due one?
I think they're due one. I could
Man,
be wrong.
we want Penn State to win because
Yeah, we want Penn State to be undefeated, dude.
But I
They'll be
think they're
whooping our
looking
ass.
ahead. I think they'll be looking ahead. I think it's going to be their sleeper game, and they're going to get upset.
All right, Jizz, one more.
I got Penn State. Okay, one more game. We're not going to pick Michigan. We're not going to pick.
How about Auburn at the University of Kentucky?
Nah.
That game is going to be brutal, dude. I'm so
You
glad
guys are
you'll
going
not
to
be
laugh.
there.
You guys are going to laugh at me for picking this one, okay? But let me explain. SMU is ranked 22nd in the country. Duke
SMU
is
can
5
go.
and Duke is 6-1. It's at Duke. This is going to be an 8:00 kickoff. SMU is 11.5-point favorites, but 22 ranked SMU at Duke.
Give me SMU, dude. They made a quarterback change recently. They can go, bro. And they got a bunch of money in that NIL fund. Don't be shocked if SMU in the next couple of years, top 10 team.
Yeah.
Pony Express.
Yes, sir.
I got the ponies.
I got the ponies.
You don't want to go with the Fighting Malik Murphys.
They had
How has
more
he
than
played
just-
this year?
I'll bring it up real quick. So Malik Murphy this year's got 1,500 yards. He's got 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's been sacked only 8 times.
How many rushing touchdowns does he have?
2. And that completion percentage though.
61%.
59.
No, it's close.
I mean, this is tough, man.
I'm taking
think
SMU still.
I'm taking SMU because of their recent quarterback change, and they've just clicked.
They've
so
been
I
rolling.
find it. Yeah.
I feel
Dude,
pretty
you
good about
take
my
SMU?
slate this week, boys.
You know, I got nothing to lose after going 1-7 last week. I'm just swinging from the hip now. It's like,
Hey man, there's still a while to go in the season. Like, it can easily you can go from
You
one
turn
win
around, dude.
to clean sweeping. I mean, not too far fetched. But as we're wrapping things up, guys, is there anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up this episode?
corn. You can use it for a lot of things. Popcorn, high fructose corn syrup. What else?
Corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob. Yeah, that's a big
Mexican
one.
street corn.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic, by the way.
Cream corn.
Sure.
Nebraska's got a lot of it, and they named their college mascot after corn. So
Cornbread.
cornbread.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Gosh, how do I forget all that?
So where are we going with that?
Just go Buckeyes.
Let's shuck some corn this weekend.
Let's
right?
chuck some corn.
Let's shuck the Cornhuskers.
Yes,
All right. Well,
Cornhuskers.
thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Scarlet and Gray Podcast. Drop a like onto the video. Subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. We will be back Tuesday night, regular scheduled time at 7 o'clock here on the YouTube channel. Talk to you guys all again soon. As always, Buckeyes.